Hey, everybody, it is Tim Gillette back here with another episode of the Tim Gillette Show. Hey, guys, I am on. This is as we're getting close to the end of another season here on the Tim Gillette Show, where we're meeting great people, doing broadcasts, sharing with you their stories, and putting out there. First of all right, we're doing this today live on our, we use this live streaming platform to actually record our broadcast called StreamYard. All right, it's live streaming. It's things that we have done throughout the years that actually started as a base for us to create the show and then record it and then put it out as a podcast. So if you're listening to the audio, you don't know is that we actually created the show by doing a live video. Now, today, while we're doing this today, because it was scheduled and it just so happens to be right in the middle of my good friend Ross Brand right now is on his 5-year anniversary of Livestream University. So here, I'm going to show you guys in a live stream. This is Ross over there. He's running his show. Let's see if I can put the sound up there and say hi to Ross. He can't hear me.
And I'm also going to be starting a new show, so I'll drive you all that way once it gets going. It'll be on LinkedIn Live too.
So see what he's up to it.
Yeah. Would you like my prediction?
Yes, please.
All right. I'm going to go less philosophical and more technological. I think that.
So that is my buddy Ross Brand's show. They're broadcasting actually live right now. For their podcast, and I wanted to do the show within a show. So you're actually seeing someone else broadcasting a live stream show inside of someone broadcasting a live stream show, just to show you games that we play and things that we do. Now, I tell you that for a reason. I'm going to bring up our guest here in a second today. Our guest today is Miss Karen Gray, Coach Karen Gray, and we're going to talk to her in a minute. But this here idea is live streaming has been, hey, Alex, thanks for coming by today. Has been a concept that's been around for years, all right, and it's something we're very active on. And we've got an event coming up that actually talks about how to do this stuff, all right? So if you've ever wanted to do a podcast, a blog, all right, a live stream show, it's why we do an event, and it's why we put these things out there to help people. I am Tim Gillette, the creator of Simple Easy Marketing, and we do this thing called Blog and Video Con, which is coming up soon. You should go to blogandvideocon.com and check it out. All right. Today, all right. Again, the Tim Gillette Show is not about Tim Gillette. It's about our special guest today. Coach Karen Gray, all right, is going to actually be our guest today. All right. I met Karen at a local networking function that I go to religiously when they held it live. All right. They literally just last month started putting these back on live again. And we were so excited to actually have them up and going, and I got to meet Karen, and she said, yes, I want to be actually on the show, and she went and did this. So I miss you guys. You know what I mean? We miss you too, Alex. We're doing another one really soon. So anyway, Coach Karen Gray. Now, I don't have her biography. I don't know a lot about her other than we had a short conversation at the event, and I get to discover her, find out about who she is, what she does, a couple things about her life, all while we are on camera today. That's the great thing about the Tim Gillette Show. So let me bring her up here on camera. Karen Gray, are you there?
Hey, Tim, I'm here. So excited to be a guest. This is exciting.
It was exciting to meet you. It's like this is, I think, one of the closest connections of meeting someone and actually having them on my radio show in that close a time.
Yeah, that was fast-tracked. That was awesome.
I think it's because you're connected to that Casey girl who really, she's on top of things.
She is a firecracker for sure. We're talking about Casey Haston, y'all. She's amazing.
Casey will be on she's actually going to be one of the newest episodes of our new season starting on the 16th of November. So it's going to be a new season. Casey's going to be our first guest on the new season.
What a great way to start it. Yeah.
It is. It's a great way to start is bringing a good old friend in there. So
yeah.
So Karen, all right, I understand that, you know what I mean, you are working from home just like me as a coach. Is that right?
I am. This is my home. So welcome into my living room. It's been a little chaotic. Today, internet's not been reliable. So I had to move out of my office to hardwire into the internet. So this is what we do, right? When you're home, you adapt and overcome. Yeah.
Now my wife and I were working, we have a 2-bedroom condo, and technically this what I'm up here is a second bedroom, but it's like it's like what they call it, like a loft over the living room, right? Okay. So my wife, who talks on the phone for sales, was here during the beginning of COVID, working from the table downstairs. And you want to talk about two people who talk, on the phone and camera, being in a house that has an echoey ceiling, it's just primo. I you know what I mean? I recommend you try it once to see if your marriage lasts.
I can imagine. My husband also works from home, and I actually had to steal his laptop to connect. So yeah, and he speaks really loud.
Yeah.
I have a very soft voice, so he makes up for my soft voice and talks really loud. But you may see him walk in and out. He may do a guest appearance behind the guest appearance.
Oh, he does have his pants on, right? Just we've had a few of them over the past couple months.
I can neither confirm nor deny that at this time. No, I'm sure he's dressed.
Yeah. Over the past year, we have seen some of the most adventurous things on camera. Now, it's interesting because I work on, helping people with camera and podcasts and all that stuff. But, most people are not noticeable of all these things that they're discovering. Oh, crap, they can see that on camera. Anyway, it's been fun. Can we just say that?
It is always an adventure, but I've loved it. I've loved working from my home and being flexible and being able to adapt and be available when people need us. So that's one of the great things that we get to do.
Cool. So Karen, all right, now we had a conversation the other day, and I didn't remember if you said you were just getting into coaching or you were just getting a certification and you'd been coaching.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so coaching's one of the industries that you do not have to be certified to coach, and I have been coaching since 2008, doing something a little different. So I wanted to step into more of a corporate executive level coaching, and I felt like that really required some additional skills and training. So I did getting certified through IPEC. I've graduated from their program, have submitted all of my final requirements for the certification. I'm just waiting to hear back. But yeah, I went through the IPEC training. Amazing training.
Well, I mean, I always encourage people, and I had a client years ago that created her own coaching certification company. She worked for another one, and then she created her own. When I basically said, to her name was Sherry, I said, Sherry, you don't need to be teaching somebody else's stuff. You know this. You need to just create your own. And, we don't have, in mine, I don't have a coaching certification. However, they're telling us to create a certification for our online marketing. All right. And do it. And we're working on that. But, those people who really, they know their coaches. The coaches who are coaches know their coaches. And the certification, all it does is it puts you, kind of like the black belt in karate. All right. It gives you authenticity in a field. But you've been a coach. I mean, if you've been doing this since 2008, you know what you're doing, right?
Right. Yeah. And it's one of those things that you go through with your heart. Like you lead with your heart through coaching, or it's just not a good fit.
Yeah.
Because you really have to care more about the other person and be objective and detach from the results so that you can truly guide them through the process. I'm sure you see that too, because if you're really hooked to the results and you're pushing them to get your agenda done and your objective completed rather than, your clients. So that was one of the things that I feel like I got out of the coaching program. In addition, that's where I met Casey. So totally worth it.
Cool. So, and like the networking function that we met at, all right, the Success North Dallas with Bill Wallace, we're trying to get Bill still as part of our speakers next week.
Yeah.
But have you been there before? Is this the first time I ever met you there, or have you?
So I went to one of their happy hours. The one last month I went to the happy hour, but that was my first networking. And you're right. I mean, it's a phenomenal, very, very high level group of professionals. And of course, Bill leads the charge with such a just a collaborative nature. He's always collaborating people together, and you need to meet this person and networking here. And I know it says, Success North Dallas, but it's really just success for anyone that's able to come.
Yeah, cool. Now, I mean, you are in the Dallas area. Have you lived in the Dallas area your whole life?
I have not. I grew up in northwestern New Mexico near the Colorado state line and lived a little all over. I grew up on a reservation and then moved to Florida, lived in Tallahassee, went to FSU, lived in Texas again. I have a gypsy soul, I think, but lived in San Angelo the last 5 years and then moved back to Dallas a year ago.
Cool. And of course, Dallas is, probably the better of the areas, right?
Yeah, of course. We're not going to say anything other than that.
I lived in Dallas area for 22 years, and I kind of love it here. I grew up in the Northeast, and I moved here in '98, and I was moving to California, and I came here instead. So,
Oh, thank God.
yeah.
No, I'm just joking. No,
I love visiting California, but I don't want to live there. That is the neat thing about my life is I don't want to live in California, but I love visiting it.
yeah. Texas is a very friendly state, and the Dallas-Fort Worth area is so welcoming and very diverse. So you get to experience different kinds of food and different kinds of culture and, events going on in the community. So I love that part. And I moved here in '99 originally, was here until 2015, moved away for 5 years, and then we're back.
So yeah, I had never thought about. I mean, I think at one point in time I thought about moving to small towns, but I was always going to keep a thing in Dallas. I met my wife here in late 2008, early 2009, and then I was like, okay, well now I'm really staying here because she has a company right down the street from our house. I was like, okay, I ain't going nowhere now. When we have two companies in Dallas and not just one anymore.
You're stuck.
Yeah, I'm stuck here. So. Anyway, so Karen, you've kind of been coaching, you said, since 2008. What is the specialty that you help your clients with?
So the majority of people that I end up working with that seem to be the best fit primarily are women. I've worked with young girls competing in pageants is where I started coaching, and working on their speaking skills, confidence, interview skills, pageant prep, because my daughter did the pageants. It was the rodeo pageant, so rodeo queen. Totally different world, but it just organically evolved into coaching parents, other people reaching out to me on my website, and wanting more and more support in different areas. And that's when I really decided, I need to step up my toolbox of what I can help them with. I just want to make sure I'm not leading anyone astray or doing them a disservice. But I was a financial advisor in financial banking and advisory for 27 years. Wow. So I bring that corporate background with me. And but I walked away from my licenses in 2016, did some work with the American Cancer Society for a few years, and just transitioned away from that with the COVID situation, and coaching full-time, speaking, and really helping women to make those transitions, or if they're in a situation where they're having to transition, it's not really their choice, walking them through that. So that's really my specialty, is just helping women with the mindset of what can I control about my situation, what can I not control, and how do I adapt my emotions to not focus on the things I can't control. Because women, we are so hard on ourselves. We want to fix everything and be perfect and look perfect and, be Facebook friendly all the time. And that's not just reality.
Yeah, I'm finding that very much true to not be reality all too hardly. Anyway, we won't go into how I find that on Facebook or how I find it in the world. But, there's some men who can be critical of themselves too. But, you specialize in working with women. Have you ever had a male as a client?
I have coached a man, and there's some things that are just general human things. We all have insecurities. We all question our own abilities or deal with some kind of imposter syndrome. I just don't know how a man might handle some situations that I've gone through personally, so I can relate to women in that regard. But coaching in general is not really about me mentoring anyone or having to be in their shoes. It's just asking the right questions, the curious questions to help them search for the answers within themselves. So it's just holding a place, a safe spot for someone to really dive deep into their own life, their own decisions, their own situation. And sometimes that's deeper than they're prepared to go, and sometimes it's exactly what they need to do, and they're ready for it, and they see a lot of success.
So, in your coaching practice, are you doing things like we teach, like speaking and, running a podcast, things like that?
I don't teach on the podcasting. I do have a podcast. It's
Mhm.
called Rock Movers, and it's really just a platform for people who are moving rocks for the women in the world. So it's another, supportive thing for women that I do. But I do talk about speaking. I do work with people who have to do TED Talks or they have to prepare for a presentation. So I do have some of those clients as well. That's a little bit different than my life coaching. But yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I wear a few different hats.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I originally got into this was, I mean, I was told by Zig Ziglar to be a coach and a speaker, and I like, didn't know what to do. So I started blogging and
Mhm.
ended up becoming a blog and consultant along the way. Um,
Yeah. I love
but you know, we all evolve along the way, all right? And as you've seen your business now evolving, that you've gone and got like certifications and stuff. What is something that, you know what I mean, got you started? Like, is there like a mentor or a coach or someone that gave you a word of advice when you were younger that basically drives you till this day?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you mentioned Zig because his daughter Julie
Good
is
friend. Yeah, I know Julie very well. Yeah.
Julie and her husband Jim were youth pastors for my kids when we lived in Decatur
Hmm.
a long time ago. And I just fell in love with Julie. She is just has the biggest heart. She's so real, so transparent. And she really is probably one of the biggest influences in my life.
Hmm.
And she always told me, whatever you do, commit to it, do it to the best of your ability, but never compromise who you are
Yeah. Yeah.
and to be authentic.
Hmm.
And so she also told me in your life, you need to find someone that's younger than you that you can mentor and someone that's older than you that you can learn from.
Good
And
advice.
so she's always been that person for me because she's just a little bit older than me. I love you, Julie, if you're watching. But to mentor to others, and that's where my speaking and coaching started was
Mhm.
when she told me that. I knew that I had a gift for writing. I write speeches and a gift for helping these girls because my daughter was winning with the coaching I was giving her. So
Cool. So it's funny, yeah, you're close to Julie. Is when the Ziegler started the Ziegler Legacy program, you know, both Tom and Cindy were like, Tim, you should go through this because of how Zig influenced my life.
yeah,
And I said, no, I think your dad would be the first person to tell me I don't belong in this program. And Julie said, yes, you don't. And I'm like, wow. Julie said, you know, it'd be great to have you in it, but you're right. Dad told you to be you. And I'm
yep,
like, that's it. Julie's that person. I've always admired Julie for that because she said, Tim, you know that, you know what I mean, love to have you in it, but you know that, you know what I mean, Dad would have told you what to do, which was not you. You know what I mean? What's not you. Yeah.
yeah. They are just an amazing family.
Yeah.
Julie was one of my first podcast guests on my show, and I just adore her. She's the real deal.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been speaking. Speak every year down there at Ziegler headquarters for the devotionals. I come down and do a devotional every year for them, and great people. You know what I mean? I've had Tom on my podcast, but I've never had Julie. I think maybe she made a guest stop one time, but many. I was one of my older shows.
Yeah.
She's not done my modern, but they have been a huge influence to me in my life as well. And I'm glad to see that they're, you know, I mean, I'm not the only person who's they've impacted closely, is they've also impacted you closely. So
Yeah, very closely. I had my third child, four, but my third child was born really premature, and Julie physically carried me through those years of being pregnant and on bed rest, and then he was born at 12 ounces, 26 weeks, and she just got the kids to school, helped me pick them up, brought us meals, prayed for us. We began going to the same church with them. She was instrumental, and she doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk. And I learned so much from that on how to serve, how to love genuinely, how to be transparent, embrace your flaws. And one of the phrases that I use, it's directly from Julie, and what she modeled for me is there's beauty in our brokenness. And so to not try to hide that from the world, but that's where people can relate to you when you're authentic and you embrace your brokenness and be real. because people can't get better if they only see people where they're at their best and don't see where they've come from.
Yeah, true. So, I mean, you've progressed along the years here. You've had a great mentor. You actually, have that advice, I mean, connect to someone who's older, help someone who's younger. How many of your clients, I'm curious, are far younger than you?
Ooh, right now,
Without giving away your age, because you don't ask a woman her age.
I don't mind. I've earned my stripes. So I'm 51. I'll just go ahead and share. Probably all but 2 of my clients are younger, much younger than me.
Cool.
And I tend to start about age 25 is probably the age where I like to coach women and above. But most of my clients are probably 30 to 40.
Oh, wow. Great age range. That was a learning area in my life, was that area, that 30 to 40 range. And actually it was through to about 45 for me. But the average human, 30 to 40 is a strong growing period.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yep. So, you're out there doing this, you're out there helping. All right. You've told us you had how many kids now?
I have 4 and a stepdaughter. So we have a family of 5.
Family of 5. Okay. And how long have you and your husband been together?
We are coming up on our 10th anniversary.
Cool. 10 years. Wow.
2010. We got married 12, 11, 10.
Cool.
So he couldn't forget.
I always said I wanted to get married on the 4th of July. We got married on July 1st. Close enough. Anyway.
Close enough.
Karen, a lot of people, when they come on the show here, all right, they're listening to some of these guests. The biggest thing that they want to hear is like advice that you would give them from a perspective of a coach. Someone who's dealing with it, like, a struggle of, of keeping a confidence or something like that. And they're listening to this show. They're still afraid to call you and me, but they want to listen to the show to get advice. So what advice would you give them?
Yeah, gosh, that's such a great question, because that is, I feel like, a common denominator across the board is people are struggling with confidence, that knowing that I can do whatever it is that I'm feeling drawn to do or afraid to do. I want to dream big, but I'm afraid to try. Don't want to fail, all of those things. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned is we have to be able to really separate who we are from what we do. And when you can logically see it, but then strategically feel that I can go out there and learn, and maybe I don't do well at this thing, whether it's a business or a new endeavor or a new skill, a new job, whatever. If I don't do well at that, and people might consider that a failure, that doesn't define who I am. I am not a failure. So you separate the behavior, the activity, the success from your identity. So you are what? So if you can define that, who am I? And really be solid on who you are, then what you do doesn't define you. And failure then isn't such a monster to defeat. And fear no longer drives your decisions. And so you now feel confident because you know who you are.
Cool.
So
Great advice. I appreciate you sharing that advice with the audience. And those people who are listening and we, they're afraid to still step out.
Yeah.
So some of them know, they want to know that you and I are real. All right. And that is probably one of the biggest things I hear. They want to know that we're real nowadays, because we're all on a media source sharing out. What is some struggles or a struggle that you've gone through in the past couple of years that you'd be willing to share with the audience?
Yeah. Gosh, such a great question. And I see this on Facebook all the time, where women are, maybe they've signed up for a program or a course or something, and it didn't end up the way that they were hoping or needing. And I think that I'm drawn to helping women because of the journey I've been on, because of what I've gone through. And my story goes back to my adoption. I was adopted when I was born. So I was about a month old, actually. And finding that out around the age of 5, 6, I don't know exactly what day it was, but I found out around that age, really defined how I saw myself, how I saw my value, and affected all the decisions that I made going forward. And so I constantly had this fear that I was going to be abandoned or going to be not good enough, for somebody wouldn't want me, that there was something wrong or broken inside of me, that was why I was adopted. And very, very painful journey, very, very painful process. Even if it was subconscious at times, it still had a huge impact on me. And so people that are feeling with, that kind of uncertainty, like I something has happened to me, so I'm broken. Something has happened to me, I'm not valuable. Someone has told me, and it's gotten into become my voice, that I'm not good enough, I'm not valuable enough, I'm trash, I'm unworthy. Those can all happen to us. It doesn't have to be an adoption, but I can relate to that. And I've had to and continually will have to be conscious of that. Now the difference is I recognize that voice when it's coming up in my head or showing up in my decisions, and I can consciously choose not to listen to it and say, okay, I know that voice is there to try to protect me, but I'm going to do it scared. And that's my 2020 philosophy, is I'm going to do it scared.
Wow. Well, 2020 has been a weird year, and a lot of us are scared in it. Going into 2021, all right, what are some goals or plans or things that you're going to be doing in your business?
Definitely collaborating more. I feel that Casey's come into my life to teach me that valuable lesson. She's amazing, and I see this networking, I don't know, skill, gift, whatever she has, but I'm just following in her footsteps and following in her traditions and seeing the value of knowing my strengths and then finding someone with my weaknesses and partnering on something. So whether it's a business or a project or a course or just whatever, just finding people that are great matches that can kind of fill in my gaps, if you will. And I think that's also where you can develop a stronger confidence, is when you know and accept, this is who I am. That doesn't make me better or less than anyone, but I know I love to do this and I'm not good at this. So I'm just going to find people who are and join forces with them.
Cool. Now, I mean, have you got like a book in the works or anything like that?
I do. I actually have 2 books in the works, and I have a couple courses in the works that I'm collaborating on with Jen Loading, and she has the Starter Girls podcast. So we have some exciting things planned, and just really got to talk with Scott Ferguson. You familiar with Scott Ferguson?
I know the name. Yeah,
he has an amazing podcast in Florida, and it's Time to Shine Today. And he is doing some amazing things. He also works with Tom Ziegler, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I am going to partner with that gentleman. And he's phenomenal. He goes by Fergie. He's hilarious, ex-military. And then Amelia Antonetti, she's part of the Genius Key movement, and she's started the Genius Key movement. And really tapping into that with her is something else that I have on the horizon for next year. So I have a lot going on. I want to leave a legacy. We talk about the dash, your birth date and your death date and the dash in between. I really want people to be better for knowing me. I want them to have been impacted and blessed and feel like I did something positive for their life. And so that's my goal, is to do that as much as possible next year.
Cool. This year, 2020, has been a year of trying times, and a lot of our listeners are going through tough times this year. 2020, all right. I want you to just be honest with the audience. Did you even come close to like the goals you set for 2020?
No, not at all. Well, let me rephrase that. So my coaching was supposed to go full time 2021.
Okay.
And when my company position was eliminated with the Cancer Society, and I had the opportunity to go full time 2020, willing or not, I had the opportunity. And I think that's the difference, is I saw it as an opportunity rather than just, happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not my plan. That was not in the works. But, sometimes we set these plans and things change. And I just now trust that there's a reason. And I don't look for a way to complain about it. I just look for a way to embrace it and move forward and make the most of it. So other than that, gosh, I don't know. I just try to see things differently through a different lens these days. And that has helped a lot. Looking for the opportunities, looking for the good, not finding the bad, because we can always find it. It's always going to be there. Mm-hmm. It's just making the choice to not choose to see that, look for other things.
Cool. What are some things that if you could go back in time that you would do different? Ooh. If you can, like, look at your last 10 years, if you had the chance to go back, change, would you change anything?
I think that, gosh, there's so many lessons in what I did. But I would have started coaching full-time sooner. Mm-hmm. I think I feel very much in alignment with who I was called to be. Maybe I wouldn't have struggled so long trying to fit into somebody else's, I'm a square peg into their round hole in the financial services industry. But, I think there were lessons in that too that I've brought to today that made me who I am. So I can't hate on them too much.
So, I mean, yeah, I always look at the lessons I've learned, you know what I mean? And people say, well, if you could go back in time, well, yeah, if I could go back to 18 with what I know now, oh my God, would I live a different life. But
then you might be a different person and not be the person.
I might be a different person, but I also might go through a lot of what I went through in a cocky sort of thing and maybe not make it to this age. So
That's right. So we all say, I wish things could be different. I would have married my husband way sooner. Wish I could have, him be my first and only boyfriend, but that's not how my life went. And maybe I wouldn't be the person that I am today had I not gone through those other 15 marriages. I'm just joking. There wasn't 15.
Only 15? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sorry, Tim, you're going to have to catch up. But no, just, there's lessons in that. And they taught me to appreciate everything that I have today with such gratitude. And if I hadn't gone through the hard times with my son in the NICU or, that situation, I wouldn't have a heart and a compassion for people with disabilities that I do, because my son has CP and other learning, different abilities. And so I get that now. That world doesn't scare me. And so now I have a compassion and understanding for special parents and kids with special needs. So I just, every lesson I'm grateful for. I wish it wouldn't have been so hard. I wish I could have not fought it so much maybe, or reached out more for support. I think that's something else that women do, is maybe not all, but maybe just people. I hate to say women, but we tend to want to be self-sufficient, and I got this, I can do this on my own. And Julie was the one that said, you have to let us help. If you tell me no, you're denying me of the blessing and the opportunity to serve you.
Yeah. And
that blesses me.
Yeah.
And so I had to, humble myself a little and be like, okay, I do need help. Mm-hmm. And asking them for help or accepting their help that they're offering isn't a bad thing.
Cool. So something else I like to ask, always to find out about my guests is what's a fun fact about you and maybe you and your husband?
Oh gosh. So he's a big hunter. I don't know if you can see. Let's see.
He's got that big deer back there. I see he's got Bambi's mom or daddy up there. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a few around the house. So we hunt. I've killed a deer with a bow. Let's see.
You don't have any spare venison I can make some chili with, do you?
Yes, I do.
Hi, buddy. Hi, friend.
Yes, I do. And we'll have
That's
more.
That's a Texas thing, venison chili. I'm just saying, guys.
It is. Yeah, I can hook you up.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. I grew up riding motorcycles. I had a KDX 80. Rode it
When you
on.
get the $55,000 Harley, call me.
Well, no, I have no desire to ride on the street, but I love dirt bikes.
Yeah, I've got 1 million miles on 2 wheels on the street. So
Wow. Yeah, that scares me. People don't watch out for you, so makes me.
I know. That's why I don't have one in town anymore.
Let's see, whatever fun fact. I don't know. I grew up on an Indian reservation.
That's an interesting fact. So
Yeah.
Cool.
In New Mexico. I was born. Well, when I was born, I moved to the Hickory Apache Reservation and then the Navajo Reservation.
Cool. So, well, I mean, it's been interesting getting to know you here on the show today. All right, and hearing what you do and hearing a little bit about you personally. All right. Some of the people though they're going to be ready to step out. They want that person to connect with. And what is the website that they can best find you at?
It's my name with Coach in front of it. So Coach Karen Gray with an A.com.
Okay, cool. That's Coach COACH Karen. That's KAREN. I know Karen can be spelled different ways too, by the way. Gray.com.
Yes.
You know, Gray, that's kind of a neutral name, isn't it?
It is. Haha, but
Hey, my last name's Gillette. People cut it up all the time.
Well, Gray, they can spell it with an E, like 50 Shades of Gray.
Oh, I almost was going to slip that question in there. So is there any 50 Shades going on in your family? I'm just.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Sometimes we have fun.
It should be fun. Life's too short.
Yeah, it is. So speaking of fun, Karen, I appreciate you coming on the show. I want to close out with my famous game called This or That.
Yep.
You're willing to play, right?
I am. I'm all for it.
So I put together 9 questions. Some of them are standard. I ask everybody. Some of them are twisted specifically for you.
Uh-oh.
And as always, if some of these offend you, they were not meant to offend. They're meant to be fun.
I'm offended already.
Oh, gosh. Oh, one of you guys, man. All right.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So we started off with, I like to ask this one to everyone, and that is Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. The original or like the new?
No. Original, like the old school CP3O and R2D2 and yeah.
Did you see it in the theaters in 77?
No, I did not.
Oh, so
I probably didn't see it till the 80s.
Oh, wow. So
I was on the reservation, remember?
Yeah. Remember, now our next one here goes to movies in general. All right. So if you do go to the movies, I know right now you're not, but if you do go to the movies, do you get popcorn or candy?
Popcorn, extra butter.
Extra butter. Oh, no salt, just butter?
Oh, salt, butter, everything.
Yeah. And you get the big tub, like the big, you can come back for refills. Are you one of those?
So my husband and I share a big tub, and then the littles get their own because I don't want their grubby, nasty hands in my popcorn. They're boys, so they're nasty, I'm sure.
Oh, interesting. All right, so my next one here goes to, all right, are you a morning person or are you a nighttime person?
I am a night owl, so definitely not morning. And 2 cups is a safe distance away from me.
I'm looking for a partner to do a show. I'm thinking about doing a live stream show and calling it Before I Had My Coffee Show. All right. And just getting someone who can do it with me and we both get on without having coffee in the morning, an early morning show, just to mess with, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, man. Yeah, that would be rough.
That would be a fun podcast. Just saying.
It'd be fun to watch afternoon.
It would. Yeah, it would. So how about this one here? I'm always a foodie, and I want to know if you like, because you live in Texas, taco or hamburger?
Oh, taco every day.
Taco. Okay.
Taco Tuesday, Taco Thursday, Taco Friday.
All right. What's your favorite taco in the Dallas area?
I would have to say Roses.
Roses? Oh, okay. Have you had Fuzzies?
Yes, but I like Roses better.
Better? Okay. Yeah. I like my mom and I went to, what's the one, the fiery one? I can't think of what it's called. But they just had one open up over here in Plano.
The Fuego, Taco Fuego, something.
No, not Taco Fuego.
The fiery one.
Like, I don't know what it was. It was a really an interesting taco, and I'm like, nah. Well, I went there. I didn't like it. My mom liked it more than I did. So but I've been a Fuzzy's taco type person since they first, you know what I mean, since I first had one. Gosh, I have to be probably about 6-7 years ago. Torchy's tacos.
Oh, Torchy's, yes. How can I forget? So I'm weird. I like taco casa. I like Roses, and I love Chewy's.
Okay, so the best taco I have ever had was when I was in the car wash industry, and this guy used to come over and make them for you out of the trunk of his car for lunch. Till this day, still the best taco I ever had.
If you don't live where they have taco trucks, you really don't understand and appreciate the value of that kind of food.
Yes.
Tamales, tacos out of a truck. It's the best.
Yeah. Okay, so my next one here moves on to, would you rather, if you're riding in the car, would you rather listen to a podcast or listen to music?
Podcast.
Yeah, I've gotten that way too. What's your favorite podcast right now?
Oh gosh. Well, I love.
Well, other than the Tim Gillette show, but yeah.
That's where I was going. I love the Tim Gillette show. I love Time to Shine. I love Starter Girls. I love the VIP show that Casey does.
Casey's doing, yeah.
And I love Jen Hatmaker's show. It's called For the Love.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm feeling sappy or wanting to tap into my Hallmark side, I listen to the Hallmark channel too. They have a show that you can listen to.
Yeah, I recently have been listening to one this year called Mike Rowe's The Way I Heard It.
I love Mike Rowe.
That made me love Mike Rowe again, because I haven't seen Mike Rowe. I mean, I barely watched Dirty Jobs. But when I heard him do that podcast, now I was in love with Mike Rowe again.
Yeah, so, he's just the real deal, and he truly sees the value of the heartland of America and the blue collar side. Yeah.
So next one here is let's go into some clothing topics. And would you rather dress up or wear yoga pants?
Well, I don't do yoga pants, but I love my sweatpants. So
do you have sweatpants on now with a dress top? I'm just curious.
I do.
Yeah. I've done.
It says be kind. So does that count as like dressing up?
Yeah, I actually have had where I've had this nice shirt, suit coat, pajama bottoms. Yeah.
Yes. Welcome to 2020.
2020 dress code. Yep. Next one goes to another thing of dressing up, and that is, would you rather be wearing your boots or your heels?
Boots every day.
Texas, baby.
Dress heels. Yes. Pointy toe. I never thought I would wear those, but I love them now.
Yep. Now down to my two controversial questions. The next one here is the toilet paper. Does it go over on the roll or under?
Drives me nuts. It always goes over.
That question is one of the most unique questions on this show, because I ask it, and the quietest people who just the whole podcast, they're talking like this, and you ask that question, fangs come out. Over.
People have an opinion about this. This is important stuff. You should have led with the toilet paper question, Tim.
The people who have opinion on that have no opinion on the presidential election, all right, or the food, all right, but they got an opinion on toilet paper, ladies and gentlemen.
Are they mostly under or over?
Mostly I have overs, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. The most interesting answer to date is Cammie Baker, and I quote her all the time. She's from New England, and Cammie said, I'm a single girl. If I go to my boyfriend's house 3 times and change that roll from under to over, I break up. This relationship is going nowhere. That is to date still my best comment on that. So, love you, Cammie. I know Cammie doesn't always get to watch this live, but I'm sure she'll listen to the replay again. And no, she's been quoted again.
Yes. So, love for you, Cammie. Way to hold true to yourself.
She's a cool chick too, man. I can't wait till I get to hang out with her in person. We've never met in person, only online. So my next one here is the last question I have, and that is, just in case your husband's listening, needs to know what to throw out and what to keep: boxers or briefs?
I actually like the sport briefs. Are they kind of like boxers? Like they're not like the tighty whities.
But there's a boxer brief is the combination now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the most popular answer. Now, I did have a lady who's like into, you know what I mean, feminine and stuff like that. I was able to ask her the feminine side of that question and not the boxers or briefs, because she, you know, the best answer, by the way, on this question has been none. By the time I get them down that far, I don't want to see anything on them. So, and I'm like, well, it was a family show, but I guess it ain't no more.
Oh, exit stage right.
Yep. So, you know, Karen, it has been fun having you on the show today. One more time, tell them your website so both audio and video people can hear it.
Yeah, you can find me anywhere, social media, online, but my website is Coach Karen Gray, and that's CoachKarenGray, and that's my social media handles also.
See, Coach Karen Gray.
That is me. I gave that to you at Success North Dallas, so glad I got to meet you there, and just honored to be on your show and stay connected and support you and your blog and video con.
Hey, we do blog and video con, you know what I mean, twice a year or so. I mean, by all means, we have to do it virtual this year because not enough people want to come live.
Yeah, well, that'll change.
Yeah.
Soon we'll be in person, but
yeah, this one coming up next week, virtual will be our 5th one. So
yeah, but for those that want to see Tim in person, I got to see him in person. I got to hug him. So Nana. You should come in person and see him.
Yeah, cool. Well, Karen, I thank you for being part of the show today. You are an adventuresome person. You give great advice, and you're someone that people need to know. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Tim. Much love to you and your wife, and thanks for all you do. Keep doing it.
Cool. And to you, the listeners, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in and tuning in today. Do me a favor, go check out CoachKarenGray.com. Check her out. Check out her podcast and things she's got coming up. Get to know her more, just like you've known us. We appreciate you for subscribing over at TimGilletteshow.com. Subscribe to our Apple podcast as well as our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tim Gillette. I'm Tim Gillette, your host, and I'll be back again real soon with another guest. By the way, we're going to do our end of season next week with a Blab reunion show. So a lot of people who used to know us from Blab will be on the show. Be sure to come catch our end of season thing next week and check it out. I'm Tim Gillette. We'll see you next time.